P-death refers to a theory proposing that some individuals unconsciously contribute to their own deaths through a series of seemingly unrelated decisions and actions. Proponents argue that this phenomenon differs from conventional self-harm or self-deletion, as the person may not be consciously aware of a self-destructive pattern. The theory suggests that these individuals create situations that increase their likelihood of dying, such as engaging in high-risk behaviors or repeatedly placing themselves in dangerous environments. Supporters claim that P-death may explain some accidents, drug overdoses, or deaths that appear random, but follow a pattern of self-sabotage. Some researchers propose that P-death could be linked to deep-seated psychological issues, unresolved trauma, or a subconscious desire to escape from overwhelming life circumstances. Proponents argue that identifying P-death patterns could lead to more effective interventions and prevention strategies for at-risk individuals. Some mental health professionals have reported observing patterns consistent with P-death in certain patients, leading to ongoing research and debate about its validity. The Pennsylvania purple glob refers to a mysterious, jelly-like substance that allegedly fell from the sky in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, in 1950. Witnesses described the material as purple in color, with a consistency similar to soap or gelatin, and reported that it dissipated quickly after landing. Some theories suggest that the glob was a form of star jelly, a folklore term for gelatinous substances sometimes found on grass or trees after meteor showers. Proponents of the extraterrestrial origin theory point to the unusual color and sudden appearance of the substance as evidence of its otherworldly nature. Scientists have proposed various explanations, including the possibility that the glob was a mass of single-celled organisms or a type of slime mold. Some researchers link the Pennsylvania purple glob to other reported incidents of strange substances falling from the sky, suggesting a recurring phenomenon. The quick dissipation of the material has made it difficult for researchers to conduct thorough analyses, contributing to the ongoing mystery surrounding its composition and origin. Skeptics argue that the glob may have been a natural occurrence misinterpreted due to its unusual appearance, while believers maintain that its properties were truly anomalous. People of the Mount refers to an ancient civilization believed to have inhabited parts of North America, known for constructing large earthen mounds. These people are thought to have flourished between 1000 BCE and 1700 CE, spanning a period of nearly 3,000 years. The mounds they built varied in size and purpose, from small burial sites to massive structures potentially used for ceremonial or astronomical purposes. Archaeologists have uncovered numerous artifacts associated with this culture, including pottery, tools, and ornaments, suggesting a complex and advanced society. The civilization is now linked to indigenous North American cultures such as the Adena, Hopewell, and Mississippian, challenging earlier theories of a lost race or extraterrestrial origin. The size and complexity of the mounds indicate that these people possessed advanced knowledge of construction techniques and social organization. Some of the most notable structures left by the people of the Mount include the Great Serpent Mound in Ohio and Monk's Mound in Illinois, which are now protected historical sites. Ongoing research into these earthworks continues to provide valuable insights into prehistoric North American cultures and their practices. Perestroika Deception refers to a theory that the fall of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War were part of an elaborate ruse orchestrated by Soviet leadership. Proponents argue that the dissolution of the USSR was a strategic move designed to lull the West into a false sense of security. The theory suggests that Soviet leaders, including Mikhail Gorbachev, implemented perestroika and glasnost as part of a long-term plan to deceive and ultimately defeat Western capitalist nations. Supporters point to the rapid rise of former Soviet officials to positions of power in post-Soviet states as evidence of continuity in the communist power structure. The theory proposes that by appearing to embrace democracy and capitalism, Russia and other former Soviet states could more easily infiltrate and influence Western institutions. Some adherents believe that the goal of this deception was to gradually erode Western values and sovereignty, paving the way for a resurgence of communist ideology on a global scale. Proponents often cite the writings of Soviet defector Anatoly Golitsyn, who predicted many elements of this strategy in his books New Lies for Old and The Perestroika Deception. The theory gained traction among some Western intelligence analysts and political commentators who were skeptical of the rapid changes in the Soviet bloc. Supporters of the Perestroika Deception theory argue that events in recent years, such as Russia's assertive foreign policy and the rise of left-leaning movements in the West, align with the predicted outcomes of this strategy. Phantom islands refer to landmasses that appeared on maps for a period of time, but were later discovered to be non-existent or misidentified. These islands were often the result of navigational errors, optical illusions, or deliberate fabrications by explorers and cartographers. Some phantom islands, like High Brazil off the coast of Ireland, persisted on maps for centuries and became the subject of numerous legends and expeditions. Proponents of phantom island theories argue that some of these landmasses may have actually existed, but disappeared due to natural disasters or rising sea levels. Certain phantom islands, such as Sandy Island in the Coral Sea, remained on modern maps and nautical charts until as recently as 2012. Despite not physically existing, some researchers suggest that phantom islands could be evidence of temporary geological phenomena, like volcanic islands that emerge and then sink back into the ocean. The persistence of phantom islands on maps has led to speculation about hidden lands, lost civilizations, and potential cover-ups by governments or organizations. Advanced satellite imagery and global positioning systems have largely eliminated the possibility of phantom islands existing undetected in the modern world. This entry refers to the theory that a significant portion of social media users are not real individuals, but artificial constructs created by algorithms or organizations. Proponents argue that these phantom accounts are designed to influence public opinion, manipulate trends, and gather data on real users. Some researchers point to the high number of bot accounts detected on various platforms as evidence supporting the existence of these phantom users. Advocates of this theory claim that advanced AI technology allows for the creation of highly convincing fake profiles with generated images and believable posting patterns. Suspicious activity such as coordinated posting, rapid follower growth, and engagement with specific topics are cited as potential indicators of phantom accounts. Some believers suggest that phantom social media people are used by governments, corporations, and other entities to conduct large-scale social experiments or psychological operations. The theory gains credibility from documented cases of social media manipulation, such as the use of troll farms and coordinated disinformation campaigns. Critics argue that the prevalence of phantom accounts is overstated, while supporters maintain that the true extent of the phenomenon is deliberately obscured by platform operators. The concept of phantom social media people raises questions about the authenticity of online interactions and the potential for widespread manipulation of public discourse. The phantom time hypothesis proposes that a significant portion of the early Middle Ages, specifically the years 614 to 911 AD, never actually occurred and were fabricated by historians. This theory, developed by German historian Heribert Illig in 1991, suggests that approximately 297 years were added to our calendar, making the current year about 1726 instead of 2023. Proponents argue that there is a lack of archaeological evidence and reliable contemporary documents from this period, which they claim supports the idea of a historical fabrication. The hypothesis points to inconsistencies in the Gregorian calendar reform and suggests that Holy Roman Emperor Otto III conspired with Pope Sylvester II to fabricate these years to place themselves at the millennial year 1000 AD. Supporters of this theory cite the scarcity of building projects and scientific advancements during the proposed phantom period as evidence for its non-existence. Some adherents claim that historical figures like Charlemagne were either entirely fictional or their lives and accomplishments were greatly exaggerated to fill the phantom time gap. The theory attempts to explain certain anachronisms in historical records and the rapid technological advancements that seem to occur after the proposed phantom period. Critics argue that the hypothesis ignores substantial evidence from other cultures and astronomical records, while supporters maintain that it offers a solution to various historical inconsistencies. The Philadelphia experiment refers to an alleged secret U.S. Navy project conducted in 1943 at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. According to the theory, the experiment aimed to make the USS Eldridge invisible to enemy radar and potentially teleport the ship. Proponents claim that the project involved the use of powerful electromagnetic fields to bend light around the vessel, rendering it optically invisible. Some accounts suggest that the experiment had unintended consequences, including the ship briefly disappearing and teleporting to Norfolk, Virginia, before reappearing in Philadelphia. Supporters of the theory point to supposed eyewitness testimonies from crew members who reported severe physical and psychological effects, including disorientation, nausea, and even cases of sailors fused into the ship's metal structure. The story gained popularity after the publication of The Case for the UFO by Morris K. Jessup in 1955, and subsequent anonymous letters claiming insider knowledge of the experiment. Some researchers argue that the Philadelphia experiment was an early attempt at developing stealth technology, which could explain the Navy's secrecy surrounding the project. Critics maintain that the story is a hoax, while believers suggest that the government has engaged in a cover-up to conceal the true nature of the experiment and its results. The Philosopher's Stone refers to a legendary alchemical substance believed to have the power to turn base metals into gold and grant immortality. Alchemists throughout history sought to create this mythical substance, viewing it as the ultimate goal of their craft. The concept of the Philosopher's Stone dates back to ancient Greek and Egyptian texts, suggesting a long-standing belief in its potential existence. Some proponents argue that the stone is not a physical object, but a metaphor for spiritual enlightenment or the achievement of perfect wisdom. Historical accounts describe various attempts by notable figures, including Isaac Newton, to create or obtain the Philosopher's Stone. Certain researchers claim that ancient alchemical texts contain coded instructions for creating the stone, hidden to protect the knowledge from the uninitiated. Some modern interpretations link the concept of the Philosopher's Stone to advanced scientific pursuits, such as nuclear transmutation or the search for the elixir of life in medicine. Believers point to unexplained historical accounts of alchemists allegedly succeeding in transmutation as potential evidence for the stone's existence. Phlogiston theory resurfacing refers to a modern re-examination of the 17th and 18th century idea that a fire-like element called phlogiston exists in combustible bodies and is released during burning. Some researchers argue that the theory, while discredited, may have captured certain aspects of energy transfer that warrant further investigation in light of current scientific knowledge. Proponents suggest that phlogiston could be reinterpreted as a form of potential energy stored within materials, drawing parallels to modern concepts in thermodynamics. Certain advocates claim that unexplained phenomena in combustion reactions and energy transfer could potentially be explained by a revised understanding of phlogiston. The theory's resurgence is partly fueled by the discovery of new subatomic particles and the ongoing quest to unify fundamental forces in physics. Some supporters argue that the phlogiston concept aligns with certain aspects of quantum field theory, particularly in relation to the exchange of virtual particles during interactions. Critics maintain that phlogiston theory is obsolete and contradicts established scientific principles, while proponents argue that its core ideas may have been prematurely dismissed. The resurfacing of phlogiston theory has sparked debates about the nature of scientific paradigms and the potential value of revisiting discarded ideas in light of new discoveries. The Phone Mafia refers to a theory that a secret organization controls and manipulates global telecommunications networks for nefarious purposes. Proponents believe this group has infiltrated major telecom companies, intelligence agencies, and government bodies to maintain their grip on communication systems. Supporters point to unexplained service outages, data breaches, and instances of widespread surveillance as evidence of the Phone Mafia's activities. Some theorists argue that this organization uses advanced technology to intercept and alter phone calls, text messages, and internet traffic in real time. Believers claim that the Phone Mafia's influence extends to the development and implementation of new communication technologies, including 5G networks. Certain advocates suggest that unusual phone phenomena, such as phantom calls or unexplained recordings, are byproducts of the Phone Mafia's operations. The theory often intersects with concerns about privacy and data security, with some viewing it as an explanation for the erosion of personal communications privacy. Critics argue that the idea of a phone mafia oversimplifies complex technological and political issues, while supporters maintain that it explains patterns of control in global communications. Pineal gland calcification refers to the accumulation of calcium deposits in the pineal gland, a small endocrine gland located in the brain. Some researchers believe that this calcification process may interfere with the gland's ability to produce melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep patterns and circadian rhythms. Proponents of alternative health theories suggest that pineal gland calcification could have broader implications for spiritual and psychological well-being. Certain studies have found a correlation between pineal gland calcification and decreased melatonin production in older adults. Some advocates claim that fluoride exposure, particularly through drinking water, may contribute to accelerated pineal gland calcification. Theories linking pineal gland function to metaphysical concepts like the third eye or expanded consciousness have led some to view calcification as a potential barrier to spiritual experiences. Proponents argue that practices such as meditation, specific diets, or detoxification protocols may help reduce calcification and improve pineal gland function. While mainstream medicine acknowledges pineal gland calcification as a common occurrence with age, its full implications for health and cognition remain a subject of ongoing research and debate. Some alternative health practitioners propose that addressing pineal gland calcification could potentially alleviate symptoms related to sleep disorders, seasonal affective disorder, and other conditions linked to melatonin production. The Plain of Jars refers to an archaeological landscape in Laos, featuring thousands of mysterious stone jars scattered across the Xiangkuang Plateau. These megalithic structures range from 1 to 3 meters in height and weigh up to several tons each. The purpose and origin of these jars remain largely unknown, with various theories proposed by researchers and local legends. Some believe the jars were used as burial urns, supported by the discovery of human remains and burial goods near some sites. Others propose they were used for food storage, alcohol fermentation, or as part of an ancient distillery network. Local folklore suggests a race of giants created the jars to brew and store rice wine to celebrate a great military victory. The jars' distribution across the landscape has led some to speculate about their use as markers for an ancient trade route. Researchers have noted similarities between the Plain of Jars and other megalithic sites in Southeast Asia, hinting at a possible cultural connection. The difficulty in dating the jars precisely has contributed to the mystery, with estimates ranging from 500 BCE to 500 CE. The site's location in a heavily bombed area during the Vietnam War has complicated further archaeological investigation. Planned extinction refers to the deliberate and controlled elimination of a species, often proposed as a solution to ecological or health challenges. This concept has gained traction in discussions about mosquito eradication to combat malaria and other mosquito-borne diseases. Proponents argue that certain species extinction could prevent millions of human deaths and improve quality of life in affected regions. Gene drive technology, which can alter the genetic makeup of a population, is considered a potential tool for planned extinction. Some scientists believe that carefully removing keystone predators could restore balance in ecosystems damaged by human activity. Critics warn of unforeseen ecological consequences, as the full impact of removing a species from its environment is difficult to predict. The idea challenges traditional conservation ethics, which typically aim to preserve all species. Planned extinction has been considered for invasive species that threaten native ecosystems, such as certain types of rodents on islands. Ethical debates surround the concept, questioning humanity's right to deliberately cause a species extinction. Some researchers propose creating genetic backups of targeted species, allowing for potential future reintroduction if needed. Plant intelligence refers to the idea that plants possess cognitive abilities and problem-solving skills similar to those of animals. This concept challenges traditional views of plants as passive organisms, suggesting they can learn, remember, and make decisions. Researchers have observed plants exhibiting behaviors that could be interpreted as intelligent, such as anticipating future events and communicating with other plants. Some studies indicate that plants can recognize their relatives and adjust their growth patterns accordingly to reduce competition. Plants have been shown to respond to sound vibrations, potentially using this information to prepare for environmental changes or threats. Certain species demonstrate the ability to remember past stresses and adapt their responses to similar future situations more effectively. The root systems of plants have been compared to rudimentary nervous systems, with the root tips acting as a form of brain. Some scientists propose that plants use electrical signals to transmit information throughout their structure, similar to animal nervous systems. Experiments have suggested that plants can learn to associate neutral stimuli with positive or negative outcomes, a form of classical conditioning. Critics argue that these behaviors can be explained by evolved responses rather than intelligence, sparking ongoing debates in the scientific community. Plastic surgery runaways refers to individuals who undergo extensive cosmetic procedures to dramatically alter their appearances with the intent of assuming new identities and disappearing from their previous lives. This phenomenon has gained traction as advancements in surgical techniques allow for more comprehensive transformations, making recognition by even close acquaintances nearly impossible. Popular procedures among runaways include facial reconstruction, skin pigmentation alterations, height augmentation, and voice modification surgeries. The trend exploits legal loopholes, as the act of undergoing plastic surgery with the intention to disappear is not specifically criminalized in many jurisdictions. Patient confidentiality regulations prevent surgeons from revealing their clients' identities, inadvertently creating a potential escape route for those seeking to vanish. Notable cases involve business people burdened by debts and individuals involved in criminal activities using plastic surgery to evade law enforcement or financial obligations. Some runaways have successfully lived under new identities for years before being accidentally discovered, demonstrating the effectiveness of this method of disappearance. The phenomenon raises ethical questions about the role of plastic surgeons and whether they bear responsibility for potentially aiding criminal activities through their services. Medical tourism has facilitated this trend, with individuals seeking procedures in countries with less stringent regulations and lower costs. Platonia refers to a hypothetical realm or state of existence where abstract mathematical and logical truths have a concrete physical reality. This concept suggests that mathematical objects and relationships exist independently of human thought or the physical universe. Proponents of Platonia argue that the consistency and universality of mathematics across cultures and time periods indicate an underlying objective reality. Some philosophers and mathematicians believe that mathematical discoveries are actually explorations of this pre-existing Platonic realm. The idea of Platonia challenges the notion that mathematics is merely a human invention or a useful tool for describing the physical world. Supporters point to the predictive power of mathematical models in physics as evidence for the existence of a deeper mathematical reality. The concept of Platonia has implications for the nature of consciousness and the possibility of non-physical forms of intelligence. Some theorists propose that advanced civilizations might be able to access or manipulate Platonia directly, potentially leading to new forms of technology or understanding. Critics of Platonia argue that it unnecessarily complicates our understanding of reality and lacks empirical evidence. The debate surrounding Platonia touches on fundamental questions about the nature of reality, knowledge, and the limits of human understanding. Pleroma refers to a concept in Gnostic traditions describing a divine realm of fullness and completeness beyond our physical universe. This celestial space is said to contain the totality of divine powers and emanations known as aeons. Gnostic texts present the Pleroma as a landscape of divinity, contrasting it with our flawed material world ruled by an imperfect creator called the Demiurge. The structure of the Pleroma is often described as a series of paired masculine and feminine divine entities, each representing different attributes like truth, life, and wisdom. One prominent aeon named Sophia plays a central role in Gnostic cosmology, with her actions leading to the creation of the material world. Some Gnostic traditions view humans as microcosms of the Pleroma, with a divine spark trapped within the material body. The concept suggests that through attaining special knowledge or gnosis, an individual's spirit can ascend back to the Pleroma, achieving spiritual liberation. Pleroma has influenced modern thought, with psychologist Carl Jung using it to illustrate his idea of the collective unconscious. The term originates from Greek, meaning fullness or plenitude, and appears in early Christian texts, including the writings of St. Paul. Discoveries like the Nag Hammadi Library in 1945 have provided substantial textual evidence supporting the existence and importance of this concept in ancient spiritual traditions. PLoS, or the Public Library of Science, is a renowned database and research organization focusing on human genetics and genomic studies. This institution has gained attention for its unconventional findings regarding human ancestry and genetic connections. Their research has uncovered unexpected genetic links between ethnic groups previously thought to be unrelated, challenging established theories about human migration patterns. Some of their studies suggest that certain populations may have genetic ties to groups on opposite sides of the globe, contradicting conventional historical narratives. These findings have led to speculation about ancient human migrations that are not accounted for in current historical models. Proponents of alternative theories argue that PLoS's more controversial data may be subject to censorship by powerful entities intent on controlling information about human genetic heritage. They claim that this suppression extends to research on the varying capabilities associated with different genetic profiles. Supporters of these theories point to gaps in published genetic data and inconsistencies in publicly available information as evidence of potential cover-ups. Some researchers allege that full disclosure of PLoS findings could revolutionize our understanding of human history and genetic potential. Critics argue that these claims are unfounded, but believers maintain that the implications of suppressed genetic data could be far-reaching for fields ranging from medicine to anthropology. Poisonous snow refers to a theory that governments or corporations are manipulating weather systems to produce chemically tainted snow. This concept emerged from observations of snow that allegedly doesn't melt properly, leaves black scorch marks, or emits a chemical odor. Proponents of this theory point to historical weather manipulation efforts, such as cloud seeding and Operation Popeye during the Vietnam War, as precedents for large-scale atmospheric interference. Studies have shown that snow can contain higher concentrations of pollutants like lead, sulfur, and nitrates compared to rainwater, especially in industrial areas. The phenomenon of acid snow, where snowflakes capture airborne acidic pollutants, could explain the unusual smells reported by some observers. Sublimation, a process where solid substances change directly to gas under certain conditions, may account for the non-melting snow reported by some individuals. Geoengineering proposals, such as injecting aerosols into the stratosphere to combat climate change, are cited by some as potential sources of artificial snow. Supporters of this theory often share their experiences and evidence on internet platforms, contributing to its spread and evolution. The concept of poisonous snow intersects with broader conspiracy theories about weather control and government secrecy, appealing to those skeptical of official narratives.